No game makes me stiffer than Wardogs. Can't wait for it to come out. Bulkhead, the developers, have just released a video, which is the tactical depth and team play video, and I'm going to go through it. I've played a lot of games, military simulators, tactical shooters, all sorts. But let's watch it and get horny.
Ultimately,
I can't wait for the destruction. Looks insane. It looks like it looks better than Battlefield. If you're going to compare it to any other game, it looks better than Battlefield. It kind of reminds me of Red Faction. I think everything is going to be destructible. Wardogs, are you brave? Tactical depth and team play.
from day one, we deliberately used real-world references as a foundation for everything we added to the game.
So you see this in a lot of high fidelity, quote-unquote realistic games now, is that they use the sounds of real guns in the games. And it makes sense to do that, obviously. But instead of like just getting them from a stock website or whatever, they've gone and got them themselves. So then they can slightly tailor it to their game, just to give it that little bit more of a unique feeling. I love that. Any reason for the boys to go and shoot guns, drive tanks, and wear military gear, right? Bulkhead, hire me. I'd love to shoot some guns. Oh, did you hear the sound of the bullets in the water there? Proper muddy.
To achieve what we want.
Did he just try and shoot through that tank? What tank is that? He just tried to shoot through the tank, dude.
Just using Unreal Engine isn't enough, which is why we've built our own framework on top of Unreal that we call War Dynamics.
Okay, so they're not just using like Unreal Engine's own ballistics. They've gone full in and they've gone through every single stat. I can see wind drift, drag force, drag coefficient. They're going really hard on the realism side of this. They put themselves in the middle of the realism and arcade scale that they created. And this goes way more towards the realism hardcore section than in the arcade section. They're going really deep into the detail. I love that. Also, I saw here, selected bone damage, selected body armor damage, bone shots to kill, and body armor shots to kill over distances. PKM is way more damaging than the M249 saw. That's all we can see from this. But also we've got down here as well in the bottom right, you can see how much damage it does to every part of the body. Wicked.
Us to accurately simulate weapon ballistics and flight models from real-world data.
It's good to know that they've got penetration depending on the angle that you're shooting at and how much damage your weapon can do.
Bullets react to different surface types with their own penetration values and ricochet potential based on ammo type, caliber, impact angle, and velocity at the point of impact.
Did you see that?
Caliber.
So he's talking about ricochet, so that means that if you're not shooting at the right angle, the bullets can just bounce off. And I think the yellow, I wonder what the pink ones mean, but the yellow ones seem, like there's a yellow one here that leaves, and I believe that might do like a certain damage, and then the damage changes at this range, and it bounced off here, then it turns to a green damage, so you could potentially hit yourself or other people or your teammates if you're not at the right angle.
Flight mechanics were grounded in realism and have the depth that we want to provide for skilled pilots before making tweaks to make general flying more approachable to more people.
This is really good for the armor players that like flying people and supplies to and from places, because squad and armor have different flight mechanics and you can feel the differences between the two, but they're both still realistic. This might just blend the two together.
In terms of audio, our priority is that the mix makes you feel grounded in the ambience and believability of the world.
One of the sickest things about armor, and specifically squad, the audio is unreal. Like, if the audio isn't good, it takes you out of the realism feel. Based on the sound of that, it's fucking sick.
Whilst balancing that with subtly dialed up gameplay cues for key information when you're going to need it most.
So because they put themselves in the middle of the hardcore and arcade spectrum that they've created, if it goes too hard on the hardcore and too realistic, it becomes difficult to like even hear people walking or moving. So what they're saying there is they're upping the sound of the footsteps, so it's more of a video game and less of a realistic thing, but also it just makes it fair across the board. Escape from Tarkov has like the headphones and stuff to accentuate the sound of people's footsteps. I don't think this game has the headphones like Tarkov does, but this is good.
Subtle confirmation audio of each successful shot on the target.
That's a big thing. If you hit somebody in a game like Arena Breakout, for example, like it has that like the visuals are realistic, but then when you hit somebody, it makes like this fucking video game noise, and it proper takes you out of it. Whereas if they get the noise right in this, then it's not going to be too it's not going to be too taking you out of it. You know, it's still a game at the end of the day. You still need to know if you killed somebody. Like in Tarkov, you don't know if you killed somebody or not until you go over there and check them. In Armor, you'll know if you killed somebody because in some servers it'll make the sound, or in some servers it'll just have the kill feed in the top right. Unless it's ultra hardcore, then you have no idea until you go over and check them. Whereas obviously they're trying to blend between realism and arcade, and so they're putting in the sound, but they're not having a thing come up on the screen saying kill confirmed or whatever the hell, just completely taking you out of it. He just got a kill by shooting through an APC. So he's using rounds that are obviously able to penetrate this APC. He's got a headshot through the APC and it's made the sound of a headshot. And that's how he knew that he got a kill. Also, blood came out of it. Yeah, blood came out of the truck, and I don't think that was... I don't know if that's intended or not, but I feel like it shouldn't be intended. If you get a headshot on somebody that's sat in an APC because you shot at the right angle and it went through, the blood would stay inside of the fucking vehicle. Just a little thing.
From hearing a single whiz-by shot, you can understand the grouping of the caliber, whether it's small, medium, or large, and if the weapon was suppressed.
Okay, so they're going off of like the length and the volume of the whiz-bys. Like in a game like Armor, like all you hear is snapping. You can't tell where somebody actually is just from the snaps. Like in real life, if you watch a Grand Thumb's video where like he gets shot at by different calibers and it makes different sounds, I think that's what they're kind of going with here. But you can never really determine the location of somebody based on the whiz-bys. If somebody's using like subsonic rounds and you hear that, you won't be able to tell where it comes from unless they've got it. So like if somebody shoots you from the right, it makes the sound in your right ear and then goes across to your left. Then you can work it out, because realistically, that's what would probably happen. I've never been shot at, so I don't know. But if they're gonna try and blend between realism and arcade, I feel like that's what should happen in this. Console player. Hang on a minute. This is a little bit of a teaser. He's playing on a controller, which means it's controller compatible for you lot that don't have, because the game's not going to come out on console. Unless it might come out on like the Xbox. You know, like how Subnautica 2 is in early access, but they've released it on Xbox as a game preview. Maybe Wardogs might be a game preview. Because this guy's on console. Whoever this is, that's controlling this AK. It's not an AK. It's not an AK, it's an RFB.
So for 9mm rounds, there will sound...
TTK looks fairly quick, but not too quick to be annoying. How's he missed that then? Mega. Have you seen the videos of it on Squad where like explosions happen and it makes this like effect? This is a lot of chromatic aberration. So we're using chromatic aberration, motion blur, lens blur effects to simulate, you know, the explosion nearby. Have you seen them in Squad where it literally causes like a heat ripple? I think you might be able to turn this off in the settings. You probably could be able to turn this off. But that's still a cool explosion. You can see the vehicle there has exploded too.
The in-game vendor will only show you the ammo types that can be packed.
Standard, FMJ, hollow point, and armor piercing. So it's not going to be like in Tarkov where you've got, you know, the different tiers of 7.62x39, for example. You know, you've got like PP, PS, BS, BP, or 5.56 variants. Like, you know, M855A1, M855, and all that kind of stuff. It's just got armor piercing, hollow point, or FMJ. It doesn't look like they've got tracer involved. Maybe the tracer's just inbuilt. I'm not sure, but still, that's good. It makes it a lot easier for people to understand. Which is why he's saying you don't need like an ammo chart on your second monitor to see how much damage they do. You can just, you know, go for the armor piercing or go for the FMJ.
Which you need to consider when building your loadout.
Respect.
When you spawn in, the first
That's a cool animation. He's like cleaning it.
is the equipment vendor.
So there's all the bits there. You can see how much everything costs. You can see how much money he's got in the top right and how much the total is at the bottom right. And the weight as well, with brackets.
Wardogs doesn't force you into playing set roles. Instead, you make choices and unlock items based on how you like to play.
Okay, so this means that it's, you know, like Battlefield, it forces you into assault, engineer, support, or recon. Whereas in this, you can pick what you want to do based on the equipment that you buy, as long as you've got enough money. So this is their answer to like the Battlefield players, because this is going to be a step up to Battlefield, because it's a little bit more realistic, less arcadey, and there's got to be more stuff to be able to do, because you can mix and match your playstyle. So they haven't got a lot of weapons, but they've got enough weapons to make a difference. Like at the beginning, I imagine they'll add weapons as time goes on. I'm not going to go through every single one of these weapons, but because I think it's just going to be...
You have to carefully...
There's so many different gadgets and bits that you can buy to be depending on what you want to play as. This is the whole point of this video, is the tactical depth and team play. You've got to play the game in different ways in order for the team to actually succeed. You can't all just be guys boots on the ground running in fighting.
Consider your inventory size, balancing how much you want to carry, which...
So this is pretty big here, because instead of making it difficult and us having to Google, like how fast, like how much do you have to weigh in order to run as fast as you can, or how much do you have to weigh until you become basically useless, they've actually got threshold brackets. There's 5 of them, so you can pick and choose where you want to be in, and obviously it makes a difference.
And movement speed.
And they've got stat pod.
Actions that help your team win, such as purchasing bandages to help teammates or transporting players back to the control zone, are key for making cash and leveling up your account.
That's sick, because it means that the people that do play certain, like, you know, the boring styles of playing, You know, for example, I say boring like this because not everybody wants to fly helicopters and not everybody wants to be a medic. Most people will want to just buy snipers and sit on hills or buy assault rifles and run at people. So this kind of like gives you a reason to do those boring ways of playing, but they're not going to be boring. They're just not going to be boring anymore because of the way that this game is set out.
Wardogs becomes this unpredictable sandbox you have to adapt to.
Yeah, so that means that if you join like a game in progress, for example, and then you go out and it seems like there's no bases that have been built around the map at all, so you've got no way of holding onto the areas. When the point moves to those areas, then you're kind of like you're gonna go, all right, I'm gonna buy stuff that builds bases. I'm gonna build a quick base, so when it gets to the point where we defend that base, you know, you can make more money because you're in a better position.
At the minute I'm playing recon, playing a sniper. I want to pop heads.
So you just said I'm playing as a recon, so he's a battlefield player, and he's choosing to be that guy that sits on roofs or sits on the mountainside and just snipe people. These guys are the ones that I want to sneak up behind and knife up the ass.
I'm typically a team's pilot, dropping people off, bringing supplies to the
These are the guys that we need in every single game of Wardogs.
And then every kill and assist that they do in the zone gives money back to me. So if they kill a person, I get some of the money for that.
That's cool because it gives you that gives you more of an incentive to try the pilot game style, because you get paid for dropping them off at the battlefield, and you also get paid for every kill that they get as like an assist, because the only reason they've got that kill is because you dropped them off.
Builder is probably my top one. Early game, your base isn't going to be doing much, but later in the game, you can really drastically swing the course of the whole match.
So that's sick. Like he's the guy that is going to be building these bases. So if people need to like either rearm, or if they need to, or even like set up like surface to air missiles or AA guns or whatever, that he's putting them. He's also these guys are also a key fucking part of the whole gameplay, which is why he's showing it. That's why he's showing them.
Assault. Yeah, I play quite like aggressive, like pushing people, killing people. Obviously, you count as more people in the hot zone, you get more cash as well. So it's like you are benefiting the team, but you're also benefiting yourself in a way because you're earning more money by being in the hot zone and doing actions in the hot zone.
So this is the guy that I think majority of people will be like, which is just running into the hot zone and fighting everybody in there. There's got to be a lot of people that are just running in there and just like, you know, fragging out. And I imagine that's where that's how it all started. You know, like this is like the first play style that they thought about, because one of the key things about this game is, or games like this, is how good is the gunplay, how good is the audio, how good is the movement, all that kind of thing. So they would have based it off of this style of gameplay, and then they would have built from there.
I like to think my playstyle is quite unique. Drop down at the top of a tower, try and sweep the tower, get in and out, get the code, and then move on to the next one.
Code?
Get that tower code, and then they can call the hot zone to that tower.
Oh, that's sick. So it's not like the hot, so within the zone, you've got the big zone, and then if you stay in that zone, then you earn money every time that you get a kill, or just by being in there. And then within that zone, there is a smaller zone, which is like the priority zone or the hot zone, and then you get even more for being in that zone. If you land on a tower, or if you go up a tower, and then you put in this code, it moves that hot zone to your tower. So that means like not only are people going to be fighting around the hot zone, but they'll also be fighting for territory of these towers. That is sick.
You've got people breaching, you've got tanks rolling up.
Oh, they're breaching the base with one of those hammers.
Infantry fighting inside and around.
They're breaching into this built base, this player-built base.
I can be a bastard to people building bases on the enemy teams, or build like the anti-aircraft.
Ooh, you see that?
I will just swap over to the attack helicopter, the Havoc. It's a game changer.
Wait, they're building surface-to-air missiles, so I'm gonna jump in a helicopter to take out these surface-to-air missiles? Come on, dude, there's a way funner way of doing that, man. Find out where the base is, get dropped off, sneak around with like C4 or something like that, sneak into their base and blow that crap up.
A logistics driver smashes through the gate.
Logistics driver, so that means there's got to be supplies. You're going to have to you're going to have to move supplies from the base to the forward operating bases around the zone. So that's a bit of armor there.
Wardogs is bringing high-stakes team play and depth back into all-out warfare.
Tasty. Oh, big. This is what we're all waiting for.
This guy, I kind of didn't recognize his name, and then I was like, what do you think about the game? He's like, yeah, mate, it's banging. Yeah, no, it's really good performance.
Look at that UI. This is the infantry UI up here. This must be an early version of the game. Just look at this. It's super low poly. Like, this is low poly. This is low poly. This is obviously on Discord. So yeah, they invited a very small amount of people to play in the playtests.
We've begun running extremely limited, closed out.
Is he warming his hands up? He's like fly roleplay.
If you want the best chance of helping us playtest Wardogs, sign up with a QR code at the end of the video and make sure you wishlist Wardogs on Steam.
Yeah, so I saw on their Discord announcements is that you can apply to take part in the playtest, and you have to put in your PC specs. And I think they're going to be trying to go for specs that are a little bit away from what their game specs might be. So, you know, for players like me, 5070, you know, Ryzen 7 9800 X3D, like they're probably already playing on and, you know, making the game on this kind of level. So if you've got a worse PC, like a lower spec PC, maybe like a 2060 or like even like a 1550 Ti or something like that, with maybe like an i7, like, you know, maybe 11th gen or 10th gen i9s, and maybe you guys will have more chance of taking part in these smaller playtests, because they're trying to make sure that the game is compatible on these lower systems. And not only that, as we've seen, there's a chance that they might be putting this out to console, so they want to make sure that it runs okay on console. So they might try to get close to that console, like what the console runs on, to make sure that it's smooth and it's good. I mean, I'm so excited for this game. I'm so excited for this game, man. I really, oh.